Let me ask you something that might sting a little. How long have you been working on yourself? How many mornings have you woken up with that familiar determination, promising yourself that today will be different? You've got your manifestation journal ready. Your meditation app is loaded. You know exactly what affirmations to repeat. You've watched the videos, read the books, joined the communities. And yet here's what's actually happening. You open your eyes, and within minutes, you're feeling the same emotions you felt yesterday, last week, last month. The people in your life, they're playing out the same patterns. Your bank account, it's telling the same story. Your opportunities, they look suspiciously like the ones that didn't work out before. It's like you're Neo in the Matrix, except instead of seeing the code, you're stuck watching the same scene replay over and over again. Different date on the calendar, same emotional landscape, new goals written down, same obstacles showing up, fresh intentions set, familiar disappointments delivered. And the worst part? You start to wonder if maybe you're the problem. Maybe you're just not spiritual enough, not positive enough, not disciplined enough. Maybe manifestation works for everyone else, but there's something fundamentally broken in your ability to create change. But what if I told you that's not true at all? What if the reason nothing's changing has nothing to do with your worthiness, your discipline, or even your technique? What if you've simply been operating on the wrong frequency, broadcasting a signal you don't even know you're sending? Because here's what nobody tells you about quantum manifestation. The universe isn't listening to your words. It's not even listening to your conscious thoughts. It's reading your frequency like a radio tower, picking up whatever signal you're actually transmitting. And most of the time, that signal is coming from a place so deep, so automatic, so completely unconscious that you don't even realize you're sending it. Today, we're going to decode that signal. We're going to understand why your reality keeps looping. And more importantly, we're going to learn how to interrupt that loop and broadcast something entirely new. Let's start with a truth that might be uncomfortable. Your reality isn't stuck because the universe is ignoring you. It's stuck because the universe is listening to you perfectly. Too perfectly, in fact. Think about it like this. Imagine you're at a restaurant and you keep getting served the same meal. Day after day, same dish. You complain to the waiter, "I don't want this anymore," you say. "I want something different." But here's the thing. Every time the waiter comes to your table and asks what you'd like, you unconsciously point to the same item on the menu. You don't mean to, you don't even realize you're doing it. But your finger lands on the same spot every single time. That's what's happening with your subconscious mind in the quantum field. The quantum field, this invisible ocean of potential that surrounds you, operates on one fundamental principle: coherence. It doesn't judge your desires. It doesn't decide whether you deserve abundance or struggle, love or loneliness, success or failure. It simply matches your energetic output with an equivalent experience. This is what physicists call the observer effect. At the quantum level, reality doesn't solidify until it's observed. But observation doesn't mean looking with your eyes. It means engaging with a particular frequency, a particular state of being, so consistently that the field has no choice but to collapse into that specific experience. Now here's where it gets tricky. You think you're observing your desired reality when you visualize, when you meditate, when you write in your journal. But those practices, as valuable as they are, only engage about 5% of your consciousness, your conscious thinking mind. The other 95%? That's your subconscious, and your subconscious isn't sitting quietly in the background while you visualize your dream life. It's actively broadcasting its own signal, a signal based on years, maybe decades of conditioning, trauma, beliefs, and habitual emotional states. Your subconscious doesn't care about your vision board. It cares about survival. And survival, to your subconscious, means keeping you in familiar territory, even if that territory is painful, even if it's limiting, even if it's nowhere near where you want to be. Familiar equals safe. And safe is the only language your subconscious speaks fluently. This is why you can spend 30 minutes every morning visualizing abundance, feeling grateful, imagining the life you want, and then spend the remaining 23 and a half hours unconsciously worried about money, stressed about security, operating from a baseline of not enough. The field isn't responding to your 30-minute practice. It's responding to your 23 and a half hour broadcast. That's the signal that's louder, more consistent, more deeply embedded in your energetic system. Let me give you a real-world example. Let's say you want to manifest a loving, committed relationship. You do everything, right? You set the intention. You visualize your ideal partner. You even go on dates, putting yourself out there. But here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. Every time someone shows interest in you, a subtle alarm goes off in your nervous system. Your body remembers the last time you got hurt. It remembers the betrayal, the rejection, the disappointment. And so, unconsciously, you start creating distance. You find reasons why they're not quite right. You pull back just enough to maintain control. You sabotage the connection before it can get deep enough to hurt you. You're not doing this consciously. In fact, consciously, you're confused. Why does this keep happening to me, you ask? Why do I keep attracting emotionally unavailable people? But the truth is, you're not attracting emotionally unavailable people. You're broadcasting emotional unavailability. Your frequency is saying, I want connection, but I'm terrified of it. Come close, but not too close. And the field responds with perfect accuracy, giving you relationships that mirror that exact frequency. People who seem interested but can't fully commit, connections that feel promising but never quite solidify. This is the law of vibrational repetition. Whatever your subconscious believes is safe, it will recreate endlessly. Not because it wants to torture you, but because it's wired to protect you from the unknown. And the quantum field, it's completely neutral. It doesn't have an agenda. It doesn't play favorites. It simply reflects back to you the dominant frequency you're holding. If that frequency is rooted in fear, scarcity, unworthiness, or doubt, no matter how well disguised it is beneath positive affirmations, that's what will show up in your reality. This is why changing your external behaviors, your routines, your habits rarely creates lasting change. Because the internal baseline, the energetic foundation, remains untouched. You're rearranging furniture in the same house, painting new colors on the same walls. The structure itself hasn't changed. Your nervous system is still wired for the old reality. Your body still carries the emotional imprints of your past. Your subconscious still believes the same stories about who you are and what's possible for you. And as long as that's true, the field will keep serving you the same meal. But, and this is crucial, once you understand this mechanism, once you see how the loop sustains itself, you gain the power to interrupt it. You can't change what you can't see, but now you're beginning to see, and that changes everything. Now that you understand the mechanism, let's talk about what your current reality is actually showing you. Because here's a perspective shift that might blow your mind. Your reality isn't a punishment. It's not evidence that you're failing. It's a mirror. A precise, unflinching mirror reflecting back your unconscious frequency. Most people look at their reality and feel victimized by it. Why is this happening to me? They ask. But that's the wrong question. The quantum field doesn't do things to you. It responds to you. The better question is, what am I broadcasting that's creating this? Let me be clear. This isn't about blame. This isn't about making you feel guilty or responsible for every bad thing that's ever happened to you. Life is complex. There are circumstances beyond your control, systems of oppression, random events, other people's choices. I'm not suggesting you've consciously manifested every hardship you've faced, but what I'm saying is this. There's a difference between what happens to you and how you internalize it. How you internalize experiences creates your vibrational baseline, and that baseline becomes the lens through which you perceive reality, which then becomes the signal you broadcast, which then gets reflected back to you as more experiences that confirm that baseline. It's a feedback loop, and most people are trapped in it without even knowing it exists. Let's break down what this mirror is showing you. Look at your relationships. Are they consistently chaotic, peaceful, distant, codependent? That's not random. That's your frequency around connection, vulnerability, and intimacy being reflected back to you. Look at your financial situation. Does money come easily and leave just as fast? Does it never seem to come at all? Does it arrive with stress attached? That's your frequency around worthiness, security, and value being mirrored. Look at your opportunities. Do you always seem to be almost there but never quite making it? Do doors open and then slam shut? Do you get what you want but it never feels satisfying? That's your frequency around deservingness, completion, and fulfillment showing itself. The quantum mirror doesn't lie. It can't. It's a perfect reflection mechanism. And here's the empowering part. If your reality is a mirror, That means you have the power to change what it reflects. Not by changing the mirror, you can't control external reality directly, but by changing what you're standing in front of it as, by changing your frequency. Most people try to change their reality by manipulating the external. They hustle harder, they force different outcomes, they try to control other people's behavior. But that's like trying to fix your appearance by adjusting the mirror. It doesn't work. The only way to change the reflection is to change what's being reflected. This is why genuine transformation always feels like an inside job, because it is. You're not trying to create a new reality out there. You're trying to stabilize a new frequency in here, in your body, in your nervous system, in your energetic field. And when that stabilizes, when it becomes your new baseline, the external mirror has no choice but to shift. But here's the part that trips people up. There's a delay. In the quantum field, there's something called the collapse of the wave function. Essentially, it takes time for a new frequency to organize matter and circumstance around it. Think of it like turning a massive ship. You turn the wheel, but the ship doesn't instantly change direction. There's momentum, there's inertia. Your old reality has momentum. You've been broadcasting the same frequency for years, maybe your entire life. The field has organized itself around that frequency. Your relationships, your opportunities, your circumstances, they're all coherent with who you've been. So when you start broadcasting a new frequency, there's a period where the external doesn't match the internal yet. And this is where most people quit. They start shifting internally, they feel different, they're doing the work, but their bank account still looks the same. Their relationships haven't improved, their circumstances feel unchanged. See, they say, it doesn't work, I'm still stuck. But they're not stuck. They're in the gap, they're in the transition. The ship is turning, but it hasn't completed the turn yet. And if they give up now, if they collapse back into the old frequency, because they need immediate proof, they reset the whole process. This is the ultimate test of quantum manifestation. Can you hold a new frequency without external validation? Can you trust the shift happening inside you even when the mirror hasn't updated yet? Because here's what's actually happening during that gap. The field is recalibrating. Old patterns are dissolving. New opportunities are being organized behind the scenes. People, circumstances, and synchronicities are being aligned with your new signal. But you can't see it yet because it hasn't materialized. It's like ordering something online. You place the order, but it doesn't appear instantly. There's processing, shipping, delivery. But the entire time, your order is on its way. You just can't see it yet. Your new reality is on its way. But if you keep checking the mirror obsessively, panicking because it still looks the same, you're sending a new signal, a signal of doubt, of lack, of it's not working. And that signal interferes with the delivery. So the quantum mirror isn't just showing you who you've been. It's also testing whether you can become someone new without immediate proof, whether you can trust the process, whether you can hold your frequency steady while the external world catches up. And if you can stand firm in your new frequency, embodying it fully, allowing the old reflection to exist without collapsing back into it, that's when everything shifts. That's when the mirror finally updates. That's when your new reality stops being potential and becomes actual. So how does a quantum shift actually happen? What's the internal experience of moving from one frequency to another? Because it's not what most people think. People imagine transformation as this lightning bolt moment. One day you're stuck, the next day you're free. One moment you're struggling, the next moment everything's perfect. But that's not how it works. Or rather, that's rarely how it works. More often, a quantum shift is a series of micro choices, tiny pivots, small moments where you choose differently than you have before. And those moments accumulate until suddenly, you realize you're living in a completely different reality. Let me walk you through what this actually looks like. Stage 1, recognition. This is where you become aware of the loop. You start noticing that the same patterns keep showing up, the same emotional responses, the same kinds of conflicts, the same limitations. At first, this awareness can feel frustrating, even devastating. Oh my God, I'm stuck in a loop and I didn't even know it. But recognition is power. You can't change what you can't see. So even though this stage can feel heavy, it's actually the beginning of your liberation. Stage 2, resistance. Once you see the loop, your first instinct is to fight it, to force your way out, to try harder, do more, push past it with sheer willpower. This is where people double down on all their techniques, more affirmations, longer meditations, stricter routines. But here's the paradox. Resistance strengthens the loop. Because resistance is still engaging with the old frequency. You're still in reaction mode, still operating from the same emotional baseline, just with more intensity. You're like someone trying to escape quicksand by thrashing around. The more you fight, the deeper you sink. This stage is necessary, though. Most people need to exhaust themselves trying to force change before they're willing to try something different. So if you're in this stage right now, don't judge yourself. Feel the futility of it. Let yourself get tired of fighting, because that exhaustion is what opens you to the next stage. Stage 3, surrender. This is where you stop fighting and start allowing. You stop trying to control the outcome and start focusing on your frequency. You stop demanding that reality change and start changing your relationship with reality. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means giving up the illusion that you can force the field to respond on your timeline. It means trusting that the shift is happening even when you can't see proof yet. In this stage, you start practicing something radical, observation without collapse. When an old pattern shows up, instead of panicking or repressing it, you watch it. You say, oh, there's that familiar fear, there's that old story, there's that habitual reaction. But you don't identify with it, you don't become it, you just witness it. This is where your power lives. In that space between stimulus and response, between trigger and reaction. Most people collapse into their patterns instantly. They feel fear and immediately become fear. They think a limiting thought and immediately believe it. But when you can create even a second of space, just 1 second, everything changes. Because in that space, you have a choice. You can choose the old frequency or you can choose a new one. And every time you choose the new frequency, even if it's just for a moment, you're training your nervous system. You're showing your body that it's safe to exist in a different state. Stage 4, embodiment. This is where the new frequency starts to feel natural, not forced, not like you're pretending, but genuinely, authentically you. This is when you catch yourself feeling calm where you used to feel anxious, confident where you used to feel doubtful, abundant where you used to feel scarce. At first, these moments are fleeting, a few seconds here, a minute there. But gradually, they become longer, more frequent, more stable, and your body starts to recognize this new state as safe. Your nervous system starts to default to it instead of the old patterns. This is the real work of quantum shifting, not visualizing for 20 minutes and then going back to your old self for the rest of the day, but gradually, consistently, patiently expanding the amount of time you spend in your new frequency until it becomes your baseline. Stage 5, reflection. This is when the external mirror finally updates, when circumstances begin shifting to match your new internal reality, when synchronicities start appearing, when opportunities show up that would have been invisible to your old frequency. But here's what's interesting. By the time you reach this stage, you're often less attached to it than you thought you'd be, because the real shift already happened inside you. The external changes are just confirmation. They're nice, they're satisfying, but they're not what transformed you. You already transformed yourself. Now, I need to be honest with you. This process isn't linear. You don't neatly move from stage 1 to stage 5 and never look back. You'll cycle through these stages multiple times, sometimes all in the same day. You'll have moments of clarity followed by moments of doubt, periods of alignment followed by periods of relapse. That's normal. That's part of the process. The quantum shift isn't about perfection. It's about direction. As long as you keep choosing the new frequency more often than the old one, as long as you keep returning to your center even after you've been knocked off balance, you're shifting. And here's the beautiful truth. Every time you cycle through these stages, you get faster at it. The first time you recognize a pattern, it might take you weeks to move through resistance to surrender. The 10th time, it might take hours. The 100th time, minutes. You're not just changing your reality, you're rewiring your entire system. You're teaching yourself how to shift. And that skill, that capacity, becomes permanent. Even if you stumble, even if you temporarily collapse back into old patterns, you now know the way out. You've done it before. You can do it again. This is what it means to become a conscious creator. Not someone who never struggles, but someone who knows how to shift when they do. All right, let's get practical. Theory is beautiful, understanding is powerful, but at some point, you need tools, you need practices, you need something you can actually do to interrupt the loop and stabilize a new frequency. So let me give you a framework that actually works, not in theory, but in lived experience. Practice 1, somatic recalibration. Your body is the broadcasting tower of your frequency. If your nervous system is dysregulated, if you're living in a state of chronic stress, tension, or hypervigilance, no amount of positive thinking will override that signal. So the first practice is learning to regulate your nervous system intentionally. And the fastest way to do that is through your breath and your body. Try this right now. Wherever you are, take a deep breath, not a shallow chest breath, but a full diaphragmatic breath. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 6 counts, hold for 2 counts. Repeat this 4 times. Notice what happens. Your heart rate slows, your mind clears, your body releases tension. You've just interrupted your default state and introduced a new signal into your system. Now, add emotion to it. As you breathe, bring to mind the version of you who already lives in your desired reality. Not what they have, but how they feel. What's their emotional baseline? Peace, confidence, joy, gratitude, excitement? Choose one emotion and breathe it into your body. Not as a performance, not as a trick, but as a genuine practice of feeling it. Even if it's only for 10 seconds, even if it feels strange at first, you're training your nervous system to stabilize in a new state. Do this multiple times throughout the day, especially in moments of stress, fear, or doubt. Instead of collapsing into the old frequency, pause, breathe, recalibrate, choose a different emotional tone. Practice 2, identity upgrading. Your identity is the sum total of the beliefs you hold about yourself, and most of those beliefs are unconscious, formed in childhood, reinforced by experience, and never questioned. So the second practice is to become aware of your current identity and consciously upgrade it. Here's how. Ask yourself, who do I believe I am? Not who do I want to be, but who do I actually believe I am right now? What's my story about myself? Write it down. Be brutally honest. Don't sugarcoat it. If you believe you're someone who always struggles with money, write that. If you believe you're someone who can't maintain healthy relationships, write that. If you believe you're someone who tries hard but never quite succeeds, write that. This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. You're making the unconscious conscious. Now ask yourself, who would I need to believe I am to naturally experience my desired reality? What story would that version of me tell about themselves? Write that down too. Create a new identity statement, not as fantasy, but as possibility. I am someone who is energetically aligned with abundance. I am someone who attracts and maintains loving relationships. I am someone who consistently creates opportunities and follows through. And here's the key. Start living from that identity today, not tomorrow when conditions are perfect, not after you see proof. Today, when you're making a decision, ask yourself, what would the version of me who already embodies this identity choose? How would they respond to this situation? How would they feel about this? And then choose that. Act from that. Speak from that. Even if it feels unfamiliar, even if there's no evidence yet that it's true. You're not lying. You're rehearsing. You're practicing being someone new until your system catches up and recognizes it as real. Practice 3. Environmental coherence. Your environment is constantly influencing your frequency. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the spaces you inhabit, all of it is either reinforcing your old frequency or supporting your new one. So the third practice is to audit your environment and make it coherent with where you're going, not where you've been. Look at your relationships. Are the people closest to you expanding you or contracting you? Are they holding the old version of you in place through their expectations and their stories about who you are? Not everyone needs to be cut out of your life, but you might need to set boundaries, spend less time with certain people, or find new connections that resonate with your new frequency. Look at what you're consuming. What are you watching, reading, listening to? Is it aligned with the frequency you're trying to stabilize, or is it reinforcing the old patterns? If you're trying to embody abundance but you're consuming content about how the world is falling apart and nothing works, You're sending yourself mixed signals. Look at your physical space. Does it reflect the reality you're creating or the reality you're trying to leave behind? You don't need to completely redecorate, but small shifts matter. Clear the clutter. Add something beautiful. Create a space that feels aligned with your new frequency. Practice 4. Quantum patience. The final practice is the hardest one, patience without proof. This is the practice of trusting the shift before the mirror updates, of holding your frequency steady even when nothing seems to be changing externally. Here's how you practice this. When you find yourself looking for evidence, when you catch yourself checking to see if it's working yet, when you start feeling desperate or doubtful, pause. Say to yourself, the shift is happening in the invisible before it appears in the visible. My job isn't to see proof. My job is to be the frequency. The field will respond when the signal is coherent enough, consistent enough, stable enough. I trust the process. And then let go. Return to your center. Return to your breath. Return to the feeling of your new identity. Stop checking the mirror obsessively. Stop demanding that reality prove itself to you immediately. The quantum field responds to resonance, not desperation. When you're calm, aligned, and trusting, you're sending a clear signal. When you're anxious, doubtful, and demanding proof, you're scrambling the signal. So practice patience, practice trust, not as passivity, but as active alignment with how the field actually works. Here's what I want you to understand as we close this journey together. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not cosmically cursed to repeat the same reality forever. You've simply been broadcasting a frequency you didn't know you were sending. You've been operating from programs installed long ago that no longer serve you. You've been looking at the mirror and thinking you could change the reflection by yelling at it, when all you needed to do was change what you're standing in front of it as. And now you know. Now you see the mechanism. Now you understand how the loop sustains itself and how to interrupt it. But knowing isn't enough. Understanding isn't enough. You have to practice. You have to choose. You have to show up for yourself again and again. In those micro moments where the old pattern tries to pull you back in, you have to become someone new. Not by pretending, not by forcing, but by rehearsing a new frequency so consistently that your body, your nervous system, your entire energetic field begins to recognize it as safe, as real as you. This is the work. Not the work of acquiring more techniques, more information, more strategies, but the work of becoming, of embodying, of stabilizing in a new way of being until the field has no choice but to reflect it back to you. And yes, it takes time. Yes, there will be moments where you doubt, where you slip back into old patterns, where you wonder if any of this is real or if you're just deluding yourself. But in those moments, remember this. Every time you choose your new frequency over your old one, you're shifting. Every time you observe without collapsing, you're shifting. Every time you regulate your nervous system, upgrade your identity, align your environment, and trust without proof, you're shifting. The loop ends when you stop feeding it. The new reality begins when you start embodying it. So take a breath right now. Feel into the version of you who already exists at your desired frequency. Not someday, right now, in this moment. That version of you is available to you instantly, not as fantasy, but as a real energetic possibility in the quantum field. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove you're worthy of it. You just have to tune into it, stabilize in it, broadcast it consistently enough that the field responds, and it will respond. Not on your timeline, not in the way you expect, but it will respond. Because that's what the field does. It mirrors, it reflects, it creates coherence between your frequency and your experience. So stop repeating the same reality. Stop broadcasting the same signal. Stop being the same person expecting different results. Become someone new. And watch how quickly your reality shifts to match. If this resonated with you, if you felt something shift just from hearing these words, I want you to do something. Subscribe to this channel, not just to watch more videos, but to commit to your evolution, to surround yourself with content, with energy, with a community that supports your quantum shift. Because this isn't just information, this is transformation, and you don't have to do it alone. The loop ends here. Your new frequency begins now. Welcome to your quantum shift.